Okay. Let's do it.
What's up, y'all? You know what time it is. It's about to be that time.
Savage.
All right, people. We are here. Should be live. Make sure that everybody can hear me, hear Brago. We're back with another Theory for Theory. All right.
What's poppin'? What's poppin'?
Special guest today, B.D.A. Law, aka Brago D Ace. The childish Gambino of the community. They say it's two separate people. Some people say it's one person. Who knows?
Exactly. You never know. Yo, that intro gets me every time, bro. What's up, y'all?
You know what time it is? It's about to be that time.
They say it's an echo on me.
It's an echo? Oh, you know why? I gotta throw the headphones on, that's why.
Hold on. You guys still hear echo?
Hold on, I'm plugging it in. Yeah. Now, there should be no echo now. Let's do a test, man.
Do you guys still hear echo? Test.
Yeah, they shouldn't hear it. I think they were picking it up from my speakers into the mic. So that was generating the echo. It should be fine now.
You said I was echoing.
Yeah, because I think they were hearing it through the speakers. Now that I got headphones in, everything should be good.
Bet. Let's get it.
Yeah, man. So been wanting to do this for a long time. We actually talked about it probably like a year ago.
Close to it.
That we were gonna set something up, but I wasn't really doing collabs like that yet.
Yeah. I see you started doing more like the Theory for Theory.
Yeah.
What made that come about?
I wanted to have something for break week.
Okay.
You know? So just basically, like give an extra discussion for the community, add something, I didn't want to be the guy that just does a different tier list every week. So I was like, let's get the community going. Let's get these theories popping. Let's talk about everything, right? Oda gave us all of these chapters, then went on a break, and then it's like, all right. Yeah. And then I feel like, the timing's right, man. We just had a bunch of bangers in a row.
It's a lot. It's a lot that's happened recently. Some people said one of the best stretches in One Piece ever. I don't know.
Arguably. I mean, you got to take into consideration that after every major arc, we get chapters like this.
Yes. This is the standard. We expected bangers. We expected bangers once Wano ended. And the thing is, while Wano was going on, we knew like other stuff was happening outside. Like major things were going on. Off of 957 to 956. It was like, all right, there's a lot that we got to figure out. So coming off the end of Wano, and then we can include, Green Bull showing up, which was unexpected. That added to it. It was like, all right, what's coming next? Ooh, got a big super chat. I don't know how you normally do super chats. Do you do it right away or you wait?
Well, I mean, when my man Ty comes in, we stop. We stop.
Okay. No, hey, respect.
My man said, sorry, I'm too early, Captain. My man's usually, he's always like, sorry, I'm late.
Okay.
But, hey, when, I guess when Brago shows up, my man Ty's on time.
Love to see it.
He said, speaking of intros, tell Brago to never change his. I'm going to be super 144p today because of this concert. What's up, Savage Crew? My man works for the Texas Rangers, so he has he's got to hide. He's got to hide and he's got to stay low key He's got, one AirPod in, listening at 144p while doing his work.
Hey, that's dope as hell, though. Still tuning in while working. Appreciate it, Ty.
Yeah, no, that's my guy right there. Channel GOAT. Guild Ty Zoro. Yeah, man. This is the standard, the gold standard. We expect this from our GOAT to pull through. Arc ends, set us up. Set us up.
I'm trying to think of the best moments after an arc. What are the best ones you can think of, like post arc? Because I'm thinking the first one that comes to mind, because one of my favorite chapters of all time is post tennis lobby.
Oh yeah, that's a stretch right there.
Yeah, post tennis lobby.
You got Ace and Blackbeard.
Shanks and
Whitebeard.
It's a lot of great stuff happening post tennis lobby. I guess, does post Whole Cake Island, does that count? Because technically that's the reverie.
903 is one of my all-time favorite chapters.
Yeah.
And 903 is, I attribute it for, revitalizing a lot of things for me, and like starting the machinations in my mind to be like, I'm gonna do YouTube. I need people to talk about this. Yeah. It was just man, that chapter.
When you say one question, you said we revitalized. So it was not your love, but your passion for One Piece is waning a bit in Whole Cake.
No, I wouldn't put it in that perspective. I would say that, I was heavy in the, early 2000s, mid 2000s, even the late 2000s. And then like life kind of like made me a little more casual with it.
Okay.
I still read the chapter every week. I still, participated in discussions on forums and stuff like that, but like life. Then 903 comes about. My man's the Fifth Emperor. Yeah. And it was also around the same time that I was doing my rewatch with my wife.
Rewatching,
yeah. Well, her first time. It was her first time. So, but we went through the whole thing, and then it was just like,
because rereading is different. Rewatching.
I don't know.
Wait. Are you watching it on?
We did One Pace.
One Pace. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, rewatching. That's a lot to read. What episode did you guys get caught up?
Well, for me, I've been caught up since Skypiea, but she got caught up in Wano.
Oh,
like early Wano.
Okay.
So, but we were watching while Whole Cake was on. So, and by the time we finished, we were already in Wano. And as the reverie was going on, I was like, "Come on."
What like rewatching? What was your perspective? Did anything change upon the rewatch? I'm sure you've reread in the time that you've been caught up, but upon the rewatch with another perspective, somebody that hasn't watched the show, did anything change between arcs? Did Baratier hit different? Impel Down, new love for Whiskey Peak?
Well, I've always actually liked Whiskey Peak, other than Luffy versus Zorro, because that's the introduction of one of my goats, Vivi. So
you didn't like Luffy versus Zorro?
You said that like you liked it.
I did. Bro, I'm not gonna lie. On Luffy, the entire time early in One Piece, I was curious. Who's stronger?
All right. I see. I get it.
I was like, I felt like early on, like when Zoro's introduced, they kind of built him up a little bit. Like, I don't know, he probably could have taken Luffy. So at that point, I was like, I just want to know. And I don't think that solved anything. But I mean, now it's really clear. I did like it though. I didn't like. Okay, the reasoning for me was kind of whatever. It's Luffy. But I like the fact that it kind of forced them into like conflict, because I think that's when the Straw Hats shine the most, when conflict arises within the crew, and we see that.
No, and I agree from that perspective. I just think that the reasoning behind that particular fight was just really thin.
Yeah, it was
you know,
it was no reason.
Like when you compare that to Luffy versus Usopp and like the stakes there, it's so it's so different.
yeah. It was. You can tell it was like fan service.
Right. No, that's exactly what it was. It was like the editor was probably like, can you like figure out a way to just sort of like tie this in?
Yeah.
And he was like, okay. It's not really where I'm like, that's not like the vibe I'm trying to do. It's not where I'm really trying to go right now. But
you don't want it to be too serious, right? You want it to be like, okay, what's the reason why Luffy want to fight Zoro? So I did like that. I thought it was pretty cool. And then in the anime back then, remember I made a video about it. It was like that's when you had like sparks flying when they're about to clash and stuff like that. And off of that, I was like, Zoro definitely has conquers haki. You know what I mean? Just off of those small sparks from the freaking anime, ended up being true. I don't know if that was an indication, but I did. That's something I pulled from.
I always say the Mr. One fight had all the clues for it right there for every type of haki. So
for Zoro in the Mr. One fight.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Okay.
The rocks falling, that's observation. How did he actually cut Mr. One? Armament. What does he do? What does he do at the end in the post Alabasta? He sits there as he's training. He's like, how do I unlock that power again?
Mm-hmm.
So he tapped into something that he didn't realize, and I think the next time he actually pulled it back out was either Ashura, because that may be some sort of conqueror's thing, and then the Shishi-san against Kuma.
Okay. How do you tie it to
Savage
conqueror's haki?
I mean, just that will, man. Just that.
The Zoro, nothing happened.
Yeah, it's just that. It's just that will, man. Like, come on. He was on the brink of death right there. Got back up and finished the man and kept moving. So.
Zoro's always somebody that I always felt like should have conqueror's haki. And One Piece with parallels with Rayleigh having conqueror's haki, Zoro being one of the guys that would stand atop the One Piece world. I just felt like it was obvious. Let me ask you a question though. Do you think there were opportunities for Zoro to show conqueror's haki sooner? Like obvious conqueror's haki? Because even now, it still seems like Ashura could be the catalyst behind it. But do you think we should have seen it a bit sooner?
I feel like we should have, had some sort of an indication at the level of like the, Duval's bull.
Yep.
Something slight.
Yeah.
I mean, like we've seen feats from Zoro. We've seen things that like just emanate like kingly ambition and everything. Yes. Like the man exudes it. He wants to be the best. Of course he was going to have it. We all knew it. It wasn't, it's not something to really dance about when it gets revealed, but it's, I wasn't a fan of the way the anime tried to shoehorn it in, but
in Wano, you don't like
in the 984
when hold on, is that when the people exploded? Is that the one?
It was when he just like knocks a dude out just randomly. You know what I think the moment really should have been in Wano is when Brook thinks that Zoro used Conqueror's Haki as Kaido is lifting Onigashima and like 997.
Yeah.
Like that would have been a great opportunity to just show a couple of people like fall on the ground.
Okay.
But it's like it's something that only we would have noticed, but no one else really would have caught on because everything else is already happening. So it's like just something subtle like that, and Zoro's got to get to the roof, and we're just
people
like,
say
seeing
like, what do you think about Monet versus Monet?
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt. I've actually brought that up in conversations. I'm like, that had to be Conqueror's Haki.
Had to be.
Like the way he just
savage.
He froze her in place.
I don't know.
I'm not sure if we ever go the route of getting multiple variants of Conquerors. Because Zoro's was a bit different, where she was so intimidated she didn't move. As opposed to being knocked out.
Right.
But that's definitely an indication. Yeah. You definitely overwhelmed her. I know early Wano, I believe it was Dragon Quake he used against some of the guys. I forgot what episode it was. It was in the anime though.
Yeah.
And they made it seem like it was Conqueror's haki. So they were teasing it. And then another moment in Wano where he just turned around and everyone around him just kind of exploded. Not like they just went up in the air and just fell. That's before Ashura.
when he did the no sword style Tatsumaki in the gambling room, or are you talking about that?
Well, that was the early one. It was one after that where he just turns around and it's like looks like a demon and everyone just goes up in the air and just falls. And then they're like, yo, what happened? He's like, I don't know. I guess they were tired or something. I was like, okay, that's the anime adding sauce to it. Because we read the manga, we know what's coming. You know. But anime onlys were saying that this could be Conqueror's haki. You know what I mean? So it was a filler. It was the same time user Monet. Yeah, Monet is the most obvious time I can think of with Zoro using Conqueror's haki.
For sure.
Do you think anybody else on the Star Hacker is gonna have Conqueror's haki?
I think Usopp's definitely gonna get it.
Usopp.
Yeah, and it's either going to be something that happens, or and then leads into things, or that's going to be the catalyst that we know Usopp has achieved his dream.
Okay, so you think that's the main thing, him having Conqueror's haki as far as being a brave warrior of the seas?
Yeah, and that's like when he'll kind of think to himself, like, he'll have to like stand up against somebody really important in some sort of life or death moment, and he'll just have like a conqueror's blast, and he'll either maybe even intimidate someone that's like top tier, and that I feel like that's like the level that needs to be shown. Just
intimidate a top tier from Usopp.
Intimidate a top tier, yeah. I mean, but then they'll realize he's Usopp or whatever. But I don't mean like knock him out, but like, all right, like, oh, you got some guts, kid. His presence, yeah.
Then does that? But
he's got to have a great feat. No matter what, he's got to have like a great feat to coincide with his dream.
How have you felt about Usopp your entire One Piece experience? Have you always liked him? Do you like him more now?
Usopp, I've never really had a problem with Usopp. Okay. I always found him funny. I mean, like even in the Arlong Park days and everything like that, with Rubber Band throwing the hammer in there, all that stuff. I mean, I think Usopp jumped levels during the Alabasta fight, and then certainly like he just reached GOAT levels in the Sogeking era. Yes.
So. I think early on Usopp for me was fine. Then I definitely wasn't rocking with him in Water 7, right?
But I wasn't rocking with him either. But then when he put the Sogeking mask on, then I was like, all right, I'm back.
I was back, but I was like, all right, I'm gonna need an apology, champ. I'm gonna need you to let us know that you knew you were wrong. You know what I'm saying? Because
you're on the Zorro vibe.
It's like, come on, like, what do you want him to do here? And I think I
did love when he pulled up to the Franky house, though. Like, I remember when that chapter came up and we see him from behind and like he's ready to take him on. I'm like, okay, all right. But then he gets fodderized. Yeah. And I was just like, oh man.
I didn't mind that. Like I said, Usopp, I really have grown to appreciate him now. But I think that was the moment, the Water 7 moment. I was like, all right, man. Luffy's typically not the person that's like about ultimatums, like my way or the highway. He's pretty chill. So it's almost like when you have that parent that's like really chill and lax, and then when they finally put their foot down, it's kind of like, all right, I get it. All right. Even when Luffy putting his foot down, he's kind of like, no, like, what do you mean? I was like, bro, are you serious? This is when you just gotta let it go. But that led to one of the best moments in the story. So,
no doubt.
I'm here for it. Someone's asking, was Usopp wrong? Yes, he was wrong.
To go about it the way that he did, Not in his feelings for the Mary, but in his actions.
Yes.
So that's why it's complicated, and that's why Water 7 is so rich, because it has that duality. But I saw Vinland and Ragnar in the chat, and he was talking about Usopp dying. I'm not one of the people that think Usopp's going to die at the end of the story. I think that Usopp definitely lives, because Oda has said that Usopp is the characterization of the audience. So if he kills Usopp, he's killing us. So I
think there's no chance Usopp dies. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it's just
I don't think you can't kill the resident, I guess, weakest member of the crew. It doesn't hit. I don't think it does. It doesn't hit, because it's just like, you expect Usopp to die. He's the weakest one. If there was one to die, it'd be Usopp, because he's the weakest one. Yeah. I think the person that would shake us as readers and completely throw the story out of whack is Robin.
For me, it's Sanji.
No shot. No shot.
I'm worried.
Tell me about this one. I don't like this.
Nah, there's a bunch of different instances with Sanji, and I've been meaning to do a video about it for a long time, where he just, things that he says, things that people say to him, there's death flags, and then he smokes death cigarettes and all this, and he is self-sacrificing.
Yeah.
So I don't think that it'll happen. I think Oda will actually keep all of the Straw Hats alive. But that's why I feel like if he was going to shake anything up, it could be him.
It's so difficult with Sanji, because he feels like such an important member of the crew. He's the chef. Like you said, he is self-sacrificing. That's something that he feels like is his purpose. At times, I feel like there has been some growth. But Sanji dying is I can't even picture it. I know, I mentioned the Robin dying thing, and it's, for people, everyone says Robin can't die. She can't die. She's our key. She's the person that's gonna unlock everything. That's why it's the one that would be wait, okay, what next now? If we lose Robin, we essentially lose the One Piece, so we think.
Right.
So this kind of gives Oda another reason, and he has been sprinkling a bunch of different things out there saying, hey, I know Nico Robin is the person that says, she has to be there, she has to figure things out, but mention Pudding. I'm sure you've probably heard about the Killer theory, about Killer probably having a third eye.
I have heard that. I do like that. I like that.
I like that a lot as well. That, that's kids' way to kind of find the One Piece. And then you can go back to Momonosuke and Sukiyaki, them still being around, where it's just Robin is very important, but I think that would be the most surprising one. I don't think, obviously, Luffy doesn't die. No way Zorro dies. I don't know if he can kill Jinbei. He just joined the crew. Yeah. Nami, no. Franky, no. Brook's already dead. You can't kill Chopper. He's just too good of merch.
Right.
And who else? You're not killing Usopp. So,
nope.
Unless I don't know how people feel about this, because Cobra just died. Kill Vivi.
Nah. Nah, bro. That's the queen right there. We ain't talking about that.
I love Vivi. I do love her. I love her. I can't wait for her to rejoin the crew. But
it's happening. Number one agenda. It's happening.
When do you think it's happening?
I'd like for it to happen in Elbaf, or at least by Elbaf, because of how important Vivi was in Little Garden. So she was there for
okay.
Usopp figuring his dream to go to Elbaf out. So I think it's a way for Oda to kind of tie all that back. She knows Dory and Bragi. could be a situation where she was already slapped there by Kuma, and that's why she's mysteriously missing. And then she's being protected by the giants right now, and we'll find her when we get there. You know, I mean, I think that's a possibility. You know, who knows?
Yeah, Vivi's a difficult one considering everything that transpired at the Reverie. I mean, the thing is, it's so tough because we've known about things going awry at the Reverie for a long time. It's just been, okay, what are the pieces in place? Where is everyone? Who's captured? Now it's like, okay, no one's captured. Only person that we know of as far as the revolutionaries. Don't think Vivi's captured.
I've never been leaning towards that until 1060 came out.
Oh, you thought she was captured?
No, I've always been team. She got away with Leo and Sai using a Viver card, you know, and that she's like on her way to Luffy or anything like that, or got slapped away by Kuma, or was with Sabo. That was it. So none of that is happening. I mean, we've talked about it. I still think that there's a possibility for Vivi to have a connection to ancient weapons. And now seeing what happened to Lucia, makes me wonder if whatever that is, if Vivi is the conduit in the same way that Shirahoshi controls the Sea Kings, Momo can control Zunisha. Was Vivi needed in order to use whatever did that to Lucia? Then we could get something really deep and dark where this character that you know, is so about saving everybody, every life matters and everything, was like manipulated and used to destroy an island.
She's a conduit to do it. I would like that a lot. So I guess in this case, would that be a necessary, I guess, W for the world government where, all right, we let the revolutionaries get away, but we obtained the key to an ancient weapon.
I can see the way that the story could take that. It's not the way I want to go, though, because I want.
You don't
Vivi
want her
back.
to be captured.
No, I want her to reunite with the crew. I want to see Vivi flex. Like, I don't want her getting flexed on.
I've been leaning towards like somebody being captured that Luffy cares about at some point.
It has to happen. I mean, now we have Kobe. I thought maybe it could be Boa. I took the L on that.
I thought it could be Boa as well.
With the tie to the slavery and everything like that, I figured she'd go back to, you know, Marijoa and everything, and that would be something.
The thing is, it would have been if Rayleigh didn't show up.
Right.
She was...
That's her dad, bro. I don't care what anybody says. That's her dad.
Yeah, that's Pops. My
man 100%. There was serious paternal activity when he pulled up.
Nah, and she was leaning on his knee at the end of the time.
Right, exactly. Paternal activity spotted, bro.
Yeah. No, I definitely thought Boa could be it. But now we have some factors still laying around. What's going on with Weevil? What do you think? Where is he? What's up?
I mean, he's probably on Sphinx right now, and that's what the ... for that Marco is noticing. He's seeing something's awry there. So I was team Sphinx after Wano.
I was team until...
Because I was like, let's go to Ace's grave. Right, exactly. Yeah. Let's get information on the Payback War. Let's talk to Marco.
It's a lot. It's a lot that we needed there. Like the final, like they haven't talked since Marineford, right? Visiting the grave, talk about Whitebeard's dream. We learn more about Whitebeard, what he's trying to do. I know in like the Ace novel, they talk about Whitebeard and how he felt about slavery, abolishing slavery in different areas. Where it's like, maybe we get some more things about that. Oda's like, no. They had the conversation off screen. Here it is. Marco's going back to Sphinx, and then he probably fights Weevil. The thing is, though, does he? The only thing I can see, either he loses or somehow he convinces Weevil that this is all for nothing. What do you think happens there?
If Marco wins, there's no point in having Weevil in the story.
Exactly.
That's the whole thing. So if Weevil is there, but I mean, I don't want to see my man Marco
another L.
Don't do him like that, Oda. Come on, man. Like,
I think because he's a phoenix and he can rise from the ashes, Oda's like, I can give him as many L's as I want because he's a phoenix. He's gonna rise back up.
Bro, I was so ready for when Kazembo happened. I was like, this is it. This is going to be the moment Marco is going to rise from the ashes. This is what it is. Marco is going to stop this.
No. No, Marco's like, new era. Sorry, this is for you guys, man. Like, Marco, listen. Marco's gone through so much at this point. He's retiring at 45. At 45 years old, he's like, I'm done. You know? I thought that would be a perfect...
He balled out, though. Assumedly. In his prime.
Balled out?
Yeah, in his prime. He was
Marco's always given the I guess the personality type of I'm here. I'm with my boys. You know, like say Whitebeard died and Ace lived and they got away. He'd have been like, you can be the captain, man. Like Ace, you got it. Ace, you got it, man. I'm cool. I'm cool right here. You know, in my position, first commander. You know,
see, this is why I want to learn about, more about what happened during the time skip, because I want to know if Marco did continue to lead the pirates or did they just immediately disband? Like, was it a thing where for a
after they lost to Blackbeard?
Right. Yeah. I'm like, what? Because in my headcanon, I'm like, Marco had to have taken over the spot and then was the Yonko until the Payback War.
Yes. So he was the Yonko in waiting, I guess. And they were kind of just, okay, let's see if he can overcome this guy. And I don't know. It feels like once they lost, it kind of broke everyone. You know? Yeah. I thought we'd see Vista in Wano.
I wanted to see Vista.
I thought Vista, Rakio, like the crew that was with Whitebeard. I thought it would pull up.
Yeah.
Whitey Bay. I don't know. It's weird
because we also don't know who's alive, who's dead, who died in the Payback War. Who did Weevil take out? Exactly.
In the anime, Whitey Bay is like one of the people, like the posters that's on Kizaru's table that he's looking at. I'm just like, so it's saying Whitey Bay got taken out as well. It's kind of weird, but I thought Vista would show up. I don't know what was going on with Jozu. You remember the popular theory about Jozu?
Right.
Being killed by Shiryu.
Yep.
You know, and him getting the fruit. Listen, as much as people hate that theory,
that one, man.
I liked it. I liked that theory. I did because it would give Zoro something to overcome when they would fight. I thought it was great.
All back to Alabasta. That was a perfect theory.
I thought
flawless
it was
flawless theory. For
years.
I thought it was
great.
For years.
I would have said no.
Yeah.
Let's take Absalom's fruit. And go from there. Like, what? Absalom's fruit. Okay. So instead of going with the hardest thing ever in One Piece right now, we go with nothing. Okay. All right, I see what you do. But no, I think with Marco, it's always just I feel like he could do more. I feel like even in Wano, he did what was necessary. You know what I mean? Like, it's all about preservation, where it's like, I came to help you all out. I didn't come to really fight the battles for you. But with the rest of the Whitebeard Pirates, I'm assuming Oda probably has a plan for them. Probably has a plan for them to show up at some point to probably help Luffy. I just thought Wano would be a perfect time because it's just the overwhelming numbers we thought weren't on our side. But then, of course, we had Tama. And it'd have been great as well if we do get something. We did get something from the Whitebeard Pirates, not the Whitebeard, the Big Mom Pirates. Then the Whitebeard Pirates would come in and they could bolster our numbers instead of them just sitting at the bottom of the waterfall the entire war.
Facts.
Which, you know, it's still crazy to think about.
Bro, I was so ready, especially at the beginning of Wano before Marco pulled up. I was like, yo, let's start talking about these Big Mom, like one-on-ones.
Smoothie redemption arc, let's go.
Right? I was like, oh, we know Usopp's going after Flampe because all he does is fight little girls.
Hey, listen, it was like...
I wanted a serious fight with Matador. Like, I feel like that would have been cool.
I love Matador. I think his powers are great.
I wanted to see it fleshed out.
The main character, the main person I thought was going to get some focus was Smoothie because of how much we felt like she fell short in Whole Cake Island. So it's like, okay, you bring her, it's perfect. She has an opportunity. There's no Katakuri to overshadow her. This is now Smoothie. You can show why maybe you should be the right hand. Let's see. Perospero leaves. Then it's like, all right, y'all, I can't. I'm out. I got to go figure out what's going on.
But see,
everybody
else is my favorite Big Mom pirate member.
Really?
Yeah, and was during Whole Cake too. See, I just, hey man, I mean, I know you're a cat fanboy. But
I am. I
love the way Oda wrote him.
Yeah.
You know, like he really like made this menacing dude, gave him like he always had like some of the most savage lines.
He did.
Like he came, and I
think I liked him, especially when he's talking smack to like Brick and Chopper. Because I remember before that fight, people were like, they got it. And he nothing.
Fodderized them.
They were nothing to Perospero. And I think it was clear just how talented he was when he made the candy escalator just in an instant. Right. It was like, oh, okay. Like, so he creative with it, you know? I always liked, the whole thing with freaking Pedro and just this whole storyline there. He's an interesting character. It's just, I guess in the Big Mom Pirates, he'll be top 3 for me. Probably Katakuri, Bobbin, and Perospero. Just those guys.
Bobbin in too. What is this? Are we in 2017 right now? We got Bobbin.
Hey, Bobbin. He was the fixer, man. You know, he was gonna fix it. And this is canon, right? But there's a reason why Capone, Vito, and what was the other guy? What's his name?
Gotti.
Capone and Gotti. They went and found Bobbin and took him out. Why? Because you take out the fixer, because Bobbin would have fixed it. So that's why Bobbin is probably 2 for me, and Perospero 3. The crazy thing is like
you're putting that part because you're saying Bobbin was such a problem. They had to take him in the back. They had to take him around back, bro.
They had to do that. So the two problems were Katakuri and Bobbin. And that was it. It was, bro, when they got revealed that Bobbin was dead, I was like, really? We killed Bobbin? Why?
My man saying top 2 right here. Man. Top 2.
Come on, man. You take out my boy. Why you do that? It's crazy. I don't know, man. Just underutilized. I don't even know what his power was really. I think he's putting people to sleep and shit like that. But I don't know. The Big Mom Pirates in general, they were, I guess the best way to describe them, they were a mess. They are a mess. Even now, it's kind of, okay, what's next for them? Because I don't think they left Hulk. If they left Wano without Big Mom, just dishonor. That would be a major L if you leave Whole Cake or Wano without your captain. So that's one of the reasons why I don't think Big Mom is dead, or Kaido.
Well, I think they got ejected out of the volcano. I think that's what we saw. So I think that they could have snatched her. And I bring this up a lot, but one of my guys here, Yamil, said, "What if Smoothie wrings out all the magma out of Big Mom and we get her back?"
Yeah, I mean, even magma shouldn't be a problem for Big Mom. It shouldn't.
I mean, it's still probably got to get wrung out. I don't know. Use Smoothie, right? We're talking about using Smoothie. I mean,
yeah. I mean, at this point, I don't have much hope for the Big Mom Pirates. I mean, even in the cover story, like even my boy Cat. Listen, it's Caesar. Caesar has a very tricky devil fruit, but still, it's a theme here with the Big Mom Pirates.
Sounds like some copium right there, bro.
You take what you want, man.
Look, Caesar, like, a little bit. He can pull the air right out from you.
So a little bit of copium. It still isn't. No, he has future sight. I don't want to. He has future sight. I don't want to hear it. But I guess if he's releasing this gas, if he can't see it, it's just like he doesn't know what's happening, even though he's using future sight. When I mention it, people are like, well, how we know
I don't think you have the facilities for that.
Katakuri's always using future sight. That's how he fights. He's using future sight. So, I don't know. I guess what's your expectation for the Big Mom Pirates going forward? Or are they just going to be relegated to cover story material going forward?
I think if we, I want to see more from Pudding.
Yeah, that's an important character.
Like that's the whole thing. Like you're setting up the Third Eye tribe. You're setting up that they could potentially awaken and like read poneglyphs. It's like what are we doing with that?
See Morge.
We got Morge in the chat.
I mentioned that Morge, but then I just let it go. I didn't want to go down that rabbit hole. They had Gangsta Gastino, just to correct you though.
Yeah, Gangsta Gastino. I don't know who Caesar Clown is.
They didn't have Caesar Clown. But yeah, they had someone that could use the same hallucinogenic powers, and they didn't use him at all. I don't know. Maybe I don't know if Caesar revealed he could do something like that, but Caesar's all about self-preservation. So him escaping, that's something it seems like he would do. But I didn't want to go down the rabbit hole because people were mad at me for bringing it up when I was doing my review about it. Remember that cover story? I was like, yeah, but didn't it was like, what are you talking about? Like, all right, we'll let it go. Let's move on.
Why did he just do all of that at the tea party?
Yeah, why didn't? But then Whole Cake is significantly shorter if we do that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, wasn't it something where Oda originally planned to end it after the tea party anyway, and then that was like his original notes?
I think I did hear something like that. I mean, but
it explains why Katakuri wasn't really introduced until right before the tea party, because he's like, all right,
yeah.
I'm gonna.
I guess if Whole Cake ended right after the tea party, like right after everything that went on there, does it change on your rating scale?
Maybe. I mean, the tea party was like one of the best climaxes of an arc.
It was great.
I mean, and geez, I mean, Brooke breaking the poster. I mean, you still get the same. You still get the picture. I mean, you still get the same effect because Big Mom is still pissed, so she's still going to come to Wano, whether it's after the tea party or what. Yeah. So it's just
you don't get the dragging. Well, you don't get Luffy versus Katakuri though.
Right. You don't get that, and I think that I really think that's
necessary.
It is, but I don't think that was in the original plan. I think it was like, oh, you know what? I want Luffy to learn this power. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to design a third act here where I'm going to have everything happen, because there's elements to it where we could sit here and like Sanji with the cake and all of that, whereas it makes sense for his character, got repetitive. Like, I think there were like 2 or 3 chapters where like the dawn at the end of the chapter was, I'm going to bake this cake. And it's like, we know Oda. That's what's happening. We're making the cake.
You baked the cake.
We're making the cake. Ow! Like the Katakuri fight was amazing from the perspective of it being something different. It wasn't really an antagonist. It was just a dude that was like, just trying to protect his family. And then it became a training thing it was something that Oda had never done, and it flipped the average end of an arc fight. So that's one of the things that I really like about that fight. But there are some structure things where I'm like, all right, Oda was figuring this out as he went along. And it's also, situations where, we were talking about Marco and Marco not really doing as much. I really think that Yamato was a late game addition to Wano. I don't think Oda really had it in his plans to have Yamato, do the things that they did. I think that it was a situation where Oda had plans for Marco and Denjiro and gave those roles to Yamato.
Yeah. I was just thinking of like antagonists that Luffy's gone up against and how the reason why we like a lot of these antagonists, like for Crocodile, we like him because of how dastardly he was in Alabasta.
Savage.
The setup, right? The setup.
Yeah.
For Doflamingo, his charisma,
right?
His speeches.
He wasn't quite the planner that Crocodile was.
No, but But the thing is, he wasn't the planner, but he had accomplished what Crocodile could not. Right?
Only because he didn't have a Luffy when he was taking over Dressrosa.
Exactly, right? But it's like we respected it, and Dofi seemed to thrive in chaos. And
but
so
now my boy Croc is back on top, though.
I would say he's back number 2, right? Because Crocodile is very careful how he speaks to Mihawk. You know what I mean? Listen. He was talking to Buggy. He was talking to Buggy like, "Oh man, this is me. This is me." He went to Mihawk like, "Yeah, this is us." Right? he was careful there, right? So he's not gonna go to Mihawk like, "Yo, yeah, this is mine. This is my shit. This is
came through. That's all me."
He didn't do that. He said, "Yo, we can do it together, man." This is because he knows better. He knows better. But no, I think where I was going with it was just like, with Katakuri, Oda literally built up his entire character almost through the fight.
Yeah.
And made us like this character through the fight. Where typically that's not how it's handled. Where Katakuri, like you said, is really late addition. And we come to like the character so much based on how he handled himself in the fight. Even if, some people don't like the conclusion, you respect it because some people felt like he could have won if he wanted to. Yeah. I mean, no, he definitely could have won if he wanted to. let's not dance around it. All right. Could have won if he wanted to.
See, that's why one of the things that I wish happened in Wano, and I still, I will always say this, is I wish we had a situation where after the cat fight, we had Luffy really take down somebody at Cat's level easier than he did Cat before.
To kind of solidify the future sight growth?
The future sight growth and just the strength. Because it's like, say if he fought Jack or even Queen or something and, didn't take 11 hours to take him out.
Yeah.
Then I would have.
For a while, I thought he was going to fight Jack.
I did too. When he fell off,
yeah,
I was like, this is the opportunity. He's going to pull up. He's going to run into Jack, take out Jack, and then we're going to know that he's ready. And then we're going to get this Kaido stuff. And I mean, who knows? That may have been in the plan, and then Oda just wanted to, move through it or whatever. But it seemed a little fast, even though it took 100 chapters to take Kaido down.
That's the weird part. I think Fonigashima, we got a lot of things that we probably didn't need.
Yeah.
And the things that we wanted Oda to probably focus on, we didn't get enough of. I remember the chapters where Kaido had his speeches, he had his moments. Even recently in the anime, where Kaido had his moment where he's losing himself fighting Luffy.
Right.
Then, mistakenly, just amazing episode. Throws him off, then he's like, oh, fuck. That should take me ahead. Fuck. They're going to still believe you can beat me. But it's like moments like that, and then we go and then we follow. Then we have, Big Mom and freaking Page One and Nami, and even that didn't have the conclusion, the resolution that we would like. So I think it was a lot of good in Wano, but Wano is one of the arcs, but I think we feel that about all the long arcs in One Piece. It was so much unnecessary fluff that we probably didn't need.
Yeah, I think Oda went into it, and I think this goes to his obsession with numerology. I think he said, you know what, no matter what, this is going to be 100 chapters. I'm going to do this. I'm going to break my record. I'm going to make
Dressrosa, longer than Dressrosa.
Oh, that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to start here. I'm going to end here. And then by the time he started getting into those final chapters, we got stuff like, oh yeah, I'm not coming. I already told Luffy. And then Oda backtracks it with the flashback later because he just didn't have time to put that stuff in. Yeah. And there's plenty of stuff that we could skip and everything like that. And I mean, my biggest hot take right now, and and it's not really against the characters, I just wish Yamato wasn't there. Like, just
I've seen that on Twitter. I've seen some of those takes on Twitter.
Yeah, I've put it on Twitter. I've put the take on Twitter.
Yeah.
I think we would have had a more meaningful arc if, like, instead of Yamato bringing this character in that, you know, has this ace connection and all that, that is the, you know, the child of Kaido, you already have that with Tama. You already established the ace story and everything, and I think it was actually done better in the manga, at least. In the anime, they did the Yamato and ace stuff better. But you set up Denjiro. Denjiro was like this awesome character in Act 1 that, you know, we set up this twist. Oh, he was Koshiro. Oh, he's Ushimitsu Kozo. This is the left hand of Odin, right? When we got into Onigashima, it should have been him with Momo. It should have been him protecting Momo, moving around like that. That's what I just would have loved that.
Yeah, I mean, Kyoshiro was somebody I really enjoyed early in Wano. Denjiro, I thought would have more focus
Said he took
in the story.
A vacation the length of Marineford.
Yeah, he just disappeared. And I don't think he fooled anyone when he showed up to save Hiyori. It was like, I mean, what else was he going to do? Right? But just having him disappear for that long and just to show up and do that.
Lessened the impact.
100%, because we knew it was coming. He was like, oh, whoa, Denjiro's saving Hiyori. All right, cool. I don't know. I think it's just the same problem that we've had at times. Just too many characters. Yeah. So every character can't get focus. You can't get enough focus. So one thing that I guess in Wano that I really wanted a better conclusion was Page 1 and Ulti fight. Well, Ulti interaction. I really liked Ulti.
They're doing a great job with it in the anime, though.
The anime has been great. The anime has been great. The anime is making me like Ulti even more.
She's still trash for beating up kids and stuff in my book, but I like, see, it's like I hate the character because Oda did so well with the character.
Sometimes the kids deserve it, you know what I mean? But nah, I think
that's about to get clipped.
I think Ulti's best girl, man. Obviously my favorite Tobiroppo. And I just liked I liked her swag, bro. Like, and then when we get some more information,
she was correct.
Yeah, and her wanting Kaido to be Pirate King, things like that, was just like, okay, we understand how she feels about it. But how she went out, and how Page 1 went out is just like, that was supposed to be Usopp and Nami, you know, but
it was convenience and just subversion for the sake of subversion in some instances.
Yeah, it felt unnecessary. But I mean, people say Big Mom was unnecessary.
No, I loved having Big Mom and Wano.
You did?
Yeah. I think that Big Mom being there was, you know, added to the threat level.
I would say with Big Mom, initially definitely did, right? Initially definitely did add to the threat level, especially with her crew being there. And I was like, okay, Luffy's going up against 2 Yonko now when he could barely overcome 1 in Whole Cake Island. What's going to happen here? Big Mom had some of the lowest moments in Wano. She was the focus of some of the lowest moments in Wano. And I feel like, I don't know, I like Big Mom as a character. I just hate how she's consistently used as a joke over and over and over and over again, especially knowing how dangerous she is. Like, we saw how initially, like when Roof Piece started, a lot of people were saying, well, Kaido's going crazy, but Big Mom, when she created sentient lightning, she was going crazy. It was like,
she was showing off.
It was like, why don't we get more of this? And so that's the thing, when we get that, but then we get moments of Olin, right? We get Olin, and then we get Franky just running over her in the motorcycle, Robin just rolling her all around. And the thing is, she's just so strong, and she's like a bumbling idiot. And that's a scary thing about her. It's like, you never know what you're gonna get. And I feel like there are moments in Whole Cake where that's captured really well, right? And I think that was a great introduction to Whole Cake as like the ecosystem where sometimes she can just go on a rampage. And it's like, it's a life or death thing, like if we get her under control in time.
Some of the, you know, best moments in Whole Cake too is like when Big Mom pulled up to the ship.
Yes.
You know, I was just
she
like,
just fell on the shit. That was scary. That was scary.
You know, like started burning the Sunny up. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the thing. She's like one of the more scarier characters because she's such a wild card. But then Oda just goes the complete opposite way sometimes and uses her as like, oh, well, it's Big Mom, so she's an idiot at times, so she can get caught with things like this. You know, I don't know how many people agree, but I probably I definitely enjoyed Law and Kid versus Big Mom more than Luffy versus Kaido. At the end, at least.
Yeah, I can see that.
Like, I thought it was a lot more creative. Wasn't sure
I like that it was about devil fruits again.
Yeah.
You know, like being creative and like how do we make this work with the devil fruit rather than, you know, just focusing on haki.
Because Oda had been building up haki and how important haki had been the entirety of Wano, it felt like. And so he brought it back with devil fruit saying, you know, okay, well, haki is great, but you got a great devil fruit. You're pretty strong as well. You know?
But it also showed that they couldn't actually legitimately beat Big Mom. They had to resort to tricks and everything to just get her down.
Just to ring out.
Right.
You know?
That's it. Just a ring out.
And I enjoyed that because just like I was like, I don't know how y'all are gonna do it. Like I have no idea how you're gonna do it. Even with Law using Puncture Willie, Shock Willie, she was coming back time and time and time again. Over and over and over. It took Law basically using Corazon's Devil Fruit to take out Big Mom. Insanity. And that's not to say that the Luffy versus Kaido fight was terrible. I don't think it was terrible. It's just what I expected. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like I expected Luffy to have a big punch and for Kaido to say, "Oh, I can take that." So it was just like, all right, I can. And I'm like, all right, this is the end. Kaido going up. It's just interesting that Kaido was clearly on his last leg, but just being the way that he is, he's like, I'm gonna take this. It's fine. I can. It's like, it just felt cliche and it was expected. And of course, the quote heard around the community about Oda and what was the quote? He said he's not gonna take out Luffy with a big punch or take out Kaido with a big punch. You got to figure it out. I don't know. People have their justification saying, okay, well, it's not just a big punch, Brago. It's haki and and Rio.
It's a gigantic punch. It's the biggest punch. It's the punch to end all punches.
It's the greatest punch. Whatever it is, it's a punch. And right. You know, I know people are gonna come back and say, what would you expect Oda to do there? Well, Oda had Luffy grab lightning.
Right.
Okay.
There was a lot of creativity going on.
There was a lot of creativity before the Batarang gun. So with that, I had high expectations for the ending of the fight. And of course, Kaido's backstory. Or just Kaido as a character, where I felt like he had the potential to be easily the best antagonist in One Piece. Didn't get there.
Nah, and that's because Oda was holding back too much. Because whatever idea Oda has or had for Kaido is so rooted in the end game of the story and rocks and everything like that it's a situation where, 5-10 years from now, whatever it takes to get to that flashback, and we see Kaido and we understand different things about him, we'll be able to go to different lines and different situations and be like, and we'll look at Kaido differently. And
once we get a full picture, is it going to retroactively make that arc better though? Because we've already moved on. That's the tough part.
That is the tough part. That's the tough part. I still wanted him to, kill more than just Dripper Scarfino, though. Like my man was, and I talked about this with Jay too.
Yeah.
It's just like, unlike the other villains that we've had in the story, like Kaido was set up legitimately as a murderer. So it's like, we it's not that we want someone to die now just to have some death. It's that Oda has set up that this dude kills. So for the
we wanted him to kill people.
Right. Kinemon, Hyogoro, somebody.
I think for Kaido, I wanted him to be a bit more, when I say menacing, when he had Momonosuke up there. I'm not saying kill Momonosuke, but have him have Momonosuke and Shinobu, right? Then all of a sudden, he fucking clobbers Shinobu and she explodes.
She doesn't just die. She
explodes. Just explodes. And the Straw Hats, they're about to help.
They're wiping Shinobu off of her.
Shinobu and this is big Shinobu, by the way, so there's a lot of meat there. All right. This is so Shinobu full version. This is full version Shinobu. So at that point, it establishes like Kaido's a menace.
Right.
You say Momonosuke, but I'm trying to think, would things be much different if Shinobu wasn't around? I don't think so. You can find someone to replace Shinobu, right?
There's plenty of replaceable characters. I see it, but I like that because it also adds to Momo, and I wanted more from the meeting of Momo and Kaido. Mm-hmm. Like I wanted more dialogue that like led into Vegapunk or the artificial fruit and everything. Like, how did you get like that? And just because it's like there is this duality that I know that Oda was trying to work, where Momo's living in the shadow of both Odin and Kaido.
Yes.
Just like literally and figuratively, and he's being looked at by everybody else to be Odin, but he also visually is Kaido when he transforms. So it's there was more that
he is representation of the country's greatest hero and his greatest enemy.
Yeah. And I mean, and that's awesome, and also at the same time just
kind of it's unnerving. It's kind of just like Momonosuke has a lot to overcome, right? Because I'm sure there are people that still look at him like, yeah, you're Odin's son, but you just look like the dude that had us being slaves essentially for 20 years. Yeah. Which
no, it's okay. It's okay. He's a pink dragon. So
he's a pink dragon.
It's different.
I thought you were gonna say it's okay. The Kurozumi must burn.
Oh my god. Well, let me get into this super chat here. My guy Ty came through again. He said, "Happy birthday, Barry." Very motivated in the chat. It's a birthday. And he said, "With Kid-in-Law taking down Big Mom, could that imply that Roger and Garp were lesser than Rocks from a power scaling perspective?"
Let's think about this. No. No, okay. I think that's what Oda wants you to feel, because he did say Rocks was Roger's greatest adversary or strongest adversary, whatever the word is. So the idea is building up Rocks to be a larger than life figure as well. It's somewhat similar to Odin, but even greater, because the people that he had technically under him went on to be Yonko,
the emperors.
Emperors, right? So it's weird with Rocks, because I think there are going to be things about his character that we don't expect. I don't think he's going to be this big baddie that's like intimidating everyone.
I've always said I expect him to be.
I think he's going to be a good dude.
Yeah, I think he's going to be.
He's going to be a decent guy.
I think he's going to be trying to fix the world, and I think that's
his answer. Everybody has a different answer, right? And for him, he's like, well, killing the celestial dragons and then replacing them with me.
right, exactly. And then I think through the events of God Valley, that's what changes Garp and Roger, because they choose a side, but during the course of the interaction probably realized they were on the wrong side. So, because it's not until after that Roger even decides he wants to like look for the poneglyphs and like try and figure stuff out. So the timeline means that something in that interaction sparked something in Roger.
Well, probably in the last moments, Rox probably says something to him.
Yeah.
Rox probably influenced him in those last moments, saying, "Do you actually know what you're fighting against?
Exactly.
What do you know?" You know, and it's like that could have been who he could have been the person who influenced Roger most to go after the stuff that he's going after. So that's I think with Rox, I try to temper my expectations in regards to just strength, because I think it's obviously deeper than that. The infighting with the crew is important here.
Yep.
And then how it's set up, it doesn't even feel like a regular crew. It feels like a bunch of people coming together to go on specific scores, or certain scores to get money. You know, Whitebeard needed money because he's trying to take care of his people. Big Mom's trying to establish her country. Shiki, he just wants chaos. Speaking of Rox, the person that I'm intrigued by now, based on what happened, was it 1059, 1058? Wang Ji.
Yeah, I think that's the actual pronunciation.
This person, Blackbeard needed Kobe's help?
So I'm still editing it. I'm gonna have a video where I'm like going into exactly what I, thinking about the Rocky Port. But I mean, let's get into it. So, what do we know about the Rocky Port? Right? We know that Law was the mastermind. We know that Kobe was the hero. Now we know that Wang Ji was involved, and that whatever it was, it allowed Blackbeard to take over Hachinosu. So I don't necessarily know if that's implicating that Blackbeard was there at Rocky Port, or if he just benefited from the actions of it.
Okay.
So it's like, because it's not worded exactly that Blackbeard was there, but it was just that because you guys took down dude, like I was able to go through and like do what I needed to do. So you helped me in that way. I think, and this goes into the story of the real Wang Ji. So, dude was an actual Chinese pirate that he was so. It was during a time in like the Ming Dynasty where you couldn't actually trade anything because the borders were closed.
Okay.
So any sort of just smuggling, any sort of like maritime movement, anything like that was considered piracy. But the thing is that you had, even at that time, you had good pirates and you had bad pirates. So, and Wang Ji was essentially a good pirate that was able to work with the world government, well, not the world government, but the government of the time in China to basically help them collect other good pirates to rat out or take out the bad pirates, because they weren't as capable on the seas. So they basically used this dude to go after. And I think that this is actually the real life inspiration for the warlord system in One Piece, because it literally was the government calling upon pirates to help them take down other pirates. So it wasn't necessarily something that Oda made up or anything like that. Like, this actually happened. So whatever the Rocky Port incident was, I think it had to have been tied into the warlord system. So whether or not Wang Ji was an original warlord, if he came up with the idea for the warlord system, or because of the empty seats after Marineford, he was being offered a position. And then Law, who felt like he needed the position,
took out,
masterminded this whole thing to take out Dude so that he could get the spot. And if it ties into the, the impel down prisoners, which became an issue, like they were talking about it at the end of Marineford. Sengoku was spooked. Brand New came over. It was just like, yeah, I know everything's crazy, but
it's happened.
Yeah, everybody in level 6 is back out. And if they happen to go to Hachinosu and like fly under Wanji's banner, like he would have essentially be like the underworld emperor. That's my opinion. I think that he was the underworld emperor. I think that he just that's the way he moved and all of that, and he may have even been the original broker of weapons for the world government, right? Because whatever happened at God Valley led to Kaido working with the world government. Because, like, let's not forget that. Like, the reason CP0 is there is because they have a pass to be there.
Yeah.
Kaido's making the weapons. He's giving them to Doflamingo. Doflamingo's giving them to the world government. They're making wars. They're warmongering with the weapons. Kaido is working with the world government. Mm-hmm. So does that imply that Kaido betrayed Rocks? So, like, they were actually going against, everything in God Valley, and then Kaido switched sides. Realized, you know what? Actually, I'm kind of vibing with them. And then works with them, figures things out, sets up everything with the world government, which could tie into a whole thing with Vegapunk, and then now we're in Egghead. Could Egghead be Kaido's favorite island? I just did a video on that, and because Scotch is there, and Scotch has he's got 18 on his. He looks like he's a Vegapunk creation, but he was also Kaido's boy, so it's like,
Did they have a relationship where, because remember at the beginning of Wano, I believe Orochi,
he was like, I want Vegapunk.
I want Vegapunk.
Yeah. So it's all of this stuff with the weapons has to be tied. Maybe Vegapunk needs the drunken iron ore from Wano to, like, for his experiments and things like that. So he was using Kaido in that way to mine the goods. All of this stuff is going to tie together in some way.
Yeah. And
with Caribou being here as well, does he show up and then he's just like, hey, oh, shit, I'm back here?
Yeah,
and it's like,
yeah.
And then the whole point of, like, that revolution with Gabiru and the cover story and everything like that was because full circle. Was because Vegapunk went to Egghead after Punk Hazard. And that's why when we see Drake there, like, they're building Egghead, if this is Egghead. And then we see later on in the Caribou cover story, those structures are now finished. And it's like the timeline fits. 4 years, you explode. 2 years later, you're still building some things. 2 years after that, you're good. We have young seraphims, right? We know 5 years it takes to get to 20 years. We haven't had 5 years since Punk Hazard blew up.
But that's the thing, Vegapunk is going to be every timeline they place in regards to, like, what regular people can do. Vegapunk is going to break that. So for the clones to judge, it's like, 5 years to get to 20? Yeah. Probably take Vegapunk 5 months.
I don't know, but then I feel like it's still got to be on that timeline. Otherwise, we'd have adult seraphims.
Unless the seraphims is, like, one of the more recent creations. Like a new breakthrough, almost. You know what I mean? Like, this is something that they had to start to implement after everything that was transpiring with the warlords. But it's like, okay, we need a replacement. We can't trust these pirates. What do you got? It's like, oh, I mean, this new thing that I'm working on, these new experiments.
Hold on a second, bro. They're saying that the stream is lagging for some reason.
Another one.
I'm getting excellent connection now, so I think we're fine.
We're back?
Yeah, we're back. We lost about 300 people, but We back.
They're like, fuck this, man. I'm out of here.
Yeah. Act like we never left, right?
Exactly. They say Morge left, so we're good now.
All right. Yeah. So where were we? I mean, we were getting into some heat. So yeah, stream never existed.
Yeah, some people saying that. Nah, with the I guess with the island, I did think it could have been like Kaido's favorite island that they were going to, because it was a winter island. That's something that I did say. After we saw they were on Egghead, I guess it makes sense. It could be the same island. They could be.
There is like a really convenient cloud blocking Egghead.
Yeah.
So it's like Oda's trying to hide some stuff here. Normally when he shows us a new island, like he flexes. He's like, this is the island.
Yeah.
This is shrouded in mystery. We've got like a convenient cloud covering most of the island. We got, we don't know what's going on here.
Another one.
So
yeah. I think it could be, if it's the same island, it'd be a great way to bring it back full circle, reel it back in. And
tie into the revolutionary, ideals and everything like this. Gabaru, everything that's going on in, these different islands now because of the Flame Emperor.
Do you think, I guess with Vegapunk, what are your thoughts on him or her? Do you think he is, like, based on what you've seen so far, or just his introduction, her introduction, do you think that's actually the guy that we've been hearing so much about, or a proxy, a clone? What are your thoughts on that?
It's got to be some sort of a proxy, I feel. It's either, so it's, I think that there's a bunch of different options, right? So I do not think that this is a situation where Vegapunk has been de-aged or anything like that. I mean, Vegapunk has always been considered a man and was alive to be in Mads. So he's at the very least the same age as, like, the oldest member of Mads, whether that's Judge, whether that's Queen. I know that, one of them is in their 50s or something, early 50s. Yeah. So that's where we need to be at with Vegapunk. So I expect him to actually be even older. Now, the implication in the 3D2Y with Franky looking at these blueprints and saying no one's going to be able to do this for 200 to 300 years. So it's like, is Vegapunk hundreds of years old? And through the process of, like, the perpetual youth operation or anything like that, has been able to, be the government scientist. Yeah. Now, this could be a Dr. Vegapunk, in the sense that daughter, granddaughter, anything like that, same surname, and, is also a doctor. So then, okay, you're literally Dr. Vegapunk. You're just not the Dr. Vegapunk. Right. Yeah. Or, I mean, we've been dealing with clones. We've been dealing with all this stuff. I mean, I've been seeing the theory out there about Sora. Have you, like, you've seen that one? And
I've seen that Zoro recreation.
That's interesting. I like that idea that, he was in love with Zoro also, and, created a... I mean, there's no way of knowing because it's not in color. So, if we saw the hair, we'd have a little more... We'd have a little more...
I guess the thing, like the conclusion I came to after, when I went back and I tried to, scour the internet to find everything we have on Vegapunk. Vegapunk, as a child, was already using animals to help him.
Well, I'm expecting to see a whole bunch of animals with those Cyclops visors and things like that. Like, we're getting into that for sure.
So that's the thing. I think this was a dead giveaway for me that this person isn't Vegapunk. Or the Vegapunk. Where she says that you had these instructions: recon, report, bombard. And, there's an error in programming. I don't think the Vegapunk makes a mistake like that.
Not anymore.
No way.
But the apprentice,
though, trying to live up to the
trying to show off, like, look at what I have created.
This is me. I'm Dr. Vegapunk now. Maybe something happened to Vegapunk, or whatever. But there's no way that the Dr. Vegapunk, that as a child could create this geothermal system to save the people of, was it Karakuri, and had animals help him, and now
can't control
years later, you can't control a shark as far as doing recon? No way. No way. I refuse to believe that.
Yeah.
I refuse to believe that. So
no, I'm
this
right
is
with you on that, bro.
Yeah, this is a Dr. Vegapunk, not the Dr. Vegapunk. No way. I think this person, and then how it's drawn as well. When she says it, it almost has like the shaded eyes is almost like disappointment. Like, I didn't get that right. You know?
I mean, unless they're a perfectionist, then it's just nothing ever really, works out. And is this a clue that different creations could get a mind of their own and turn and have their own free will? So I mean, there's opportunities there, but I still think it's not the, unless it's Dr. Vegapunk is a brain in a jar and they have a bunch of different vessels and they're just living vicariously through these proxies. I don't know. We're gonna get into some like fun science fiction stuff. I mean, this is gonna be like Thriller Bark all over again, but instead of Tim Burton and like horror or anything like that, he's gonna get into like Back to the Future references, Terminator references. Like he's gonna get.
It's gonna be a lot. It's gonna be a lot. People say they call Momo's Fruit a failure. That could be so much, right? It could just be.
It's pink.
It's the color, right? It could just be the color. It could also be, well, I don't want it to fall into the hands of the world government, right? So yeah, it's a failure. Are any of you guys gonna eat it?
Right.
I'm telling you, it's a failure. I'm Dr. Vegapunk, but it's a failure.
That's one of the things that I'm a little disappointed that we won't get. Is I wanted Momonosuke to be there for whatever conversation we have with Vegapunk. So that he could have this interaction, learn about his fruit, like, get some information on that fruit even more. So that's why I was hoping Vegapunk would have pulled up at the end of Wano, but I knew it was coming soon. I thought he was going to pull up at the end of
Wano as well. I thought it was clear he was coming soon, right? Just the fact that Orochi mentioned him, and then
not only that, the entire all the way from Punk Hazard, this entire Super Saga has been building us up to Vegapunk.
Yeah, it felt like Vegapunk was on the horizon, but I thought he was going to show up at the end of Wano. I guess after Wano, he's here. But I think when I think of mysteries in One Piece and what we've been waiting for, there are not many things above this guy.
628 chapters since the first mention.
Not many things that we've been waiting for more than Vegapunk. I don't think people understand how monumental it is that we're on Egghead right now. We found out that Vegapunk was 500 years advanced. What? It was
years ago.
Years ago. It was during the time skip, I believe. Yeah. No, Kuma. I think Kuma. That's when we found out Vegapunk was 500 years into the future. And here we are on Egghead. They said this island is 500 years into the future. I expect cell phones. Right? I expect everything we have today. This is like Oda's opportunity to implement modern day technology. Because FaceTime, we're gonna have.
It's gonna get crazy.
It's gonna get crazy.
What's your expectations, bro? Who you think's gonna shine this arc?
We know who's gonna shine. Brooke, it's YouTube on Egghead. Why not? Why not? You have a video sharing system between all the Vegapunks where they can compare their ideas. Twitch bathtub streamers, of course. I think
it's like the what do they call that place in Rick and Morty where all the Rick and Mortys are?
Honestly, I've seen 3 episodes of Rick and Morty.
Yeah,
I know. I'm people get on me for not seeing it. It's on my list. It's on my list right after I finished Young Justice, but I think the person that's gonna
Young Justice,
one of the goats. The person that's gonna shine the most is definitely Franky. It's Franky.
I'm hoping. I don't want to get a Wano Zorro situation with Franky where it makes so much sense for him to shine, but he doesn't.
I think here's the thing. Here's the crazy part. I think Zorro went crazy in Wano. Right? Where Zorro did not get the focus in regards to his backstory that we wanted, like we got from Sanji. Right? We wanted more on his lineage. Where did he come from? Like, who is his dad? And Oda teased it. He knows what we want.
Right.
Right? You introduce a guy that looks just like Zorro, and you're like, well, yeah, that's not his dad, by the way. Okay. But when I say Zorro went crazy, it's like Zorro not only used Ashura again, he unlocked Conqueror's haki.
Scarred Kaido. He stopped a combined Yonko attack. Then he went on to fight a first commander. He did a lot of shit in Wano. Yes, he didn't gather up the samurai, right? We didn't find out his true lineage, but he advanced. He unlocked advanced conquerors. He, for the most part, tamed Enma. Like, I assume that Zorro went to visit Ryuma's grave as well. We just didn't see it. We just haven't seen it yet. Oda's gonna wait, and we're gonna see a flashback of him going and seeing. But, I hope so. Because that's the stipulation. My man was like, "I'll give you Shusui back."
Yeah.
But I need to go to this grave, and then we just.
You know what made me think that this is definitely happened? The Marco thing with Luffy. It gave me hope.
Yeah.
It gave me hope that, like,
I can get that flashback.
Yeah, that 100% gave me hope. So Zorro didn't go. We didn't get the lore that we wanted from Zorro, but as far as everything he did in that arc, I mean, you could want more, things about his lineage, but I think he went crazy. He did. He did a lot of amazing stuff. I would say, I mean, I'm not sure. Let me ask you, who is your MVP, not including Luffy, of Wano?
Dripper Scarfino.
Explain that one for me.
We wouldn't have had Gear 5 Luffy. My man came through, he popped in, and he gave us Gear 5 Luffy. We wouldn't have won without him. He's the MVP. Undisputed.
Dripper Scarfino. I like how you got there. I would say Tama's up there.
Tama, yeah. That would have been my next choice.
Law, because this is Wano. Law is up there. Zorro.
Contender.
But I think, who else?
I said contender. Yeah.
Yeah. Someone said Conjuro is close.
Conjuro probably is my favorite villain out of the arc. Like I think he's better than Kaido as a villain. I feel like my man came in, accomplished what he wanted to do, and then went out.
That's
the only villain that succeeded.
The thing is, Conjuro was a menace, right? Where he kept coming back, right? Like, and what I liked about Conjuro was that he was, and this is the thing that One Piece antagonists and villains they suffer from, because we're in this story and the Straw Hats have to win, incompetence. And time and time again, we have incompetence on the side of the antagonist. With Conjuro, even with capturing Momonosuke, getting away from the Straw Hats, getting all the way to Onigashima, getting to Kaido and Big Mom, it's like he did everything he needed to do.
Yeah. He's a top 5 villain in the series for me.
He did everything he needed to do. And then he was not done. He showed up as Odin to terrorize them even more. Was not done. Managed to stab Kiku. He just kept going. Kazenbo. Like,
he's one of the only villains that actually has a body.
Yeah. Yeah, he has. I mean, how many bodies did Kazenbo take out?
Ashura Doji is the only one that matters.
I remember we talked about Ashura Doji when he blew up.
Yeah, we did that Henny Cool Brothers after that chapter.
Was it the Henny Cool Brothers?
Yeah, it was the Henny Cool Brothers with Jay.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
And I was so adamant.
You said that Ashura Doji was dead. I was like, there's no way he goes out like this, man. There's no way Oda lets him go out like this. He went out like that. He went out like that. Not gonna lie, a bit underwhelming for me. But Ashura Doji at that point, I didn't care about him anymore. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't care about him as much anymore.
Ashura Doji did everything he needed to do. He did everything he needed to do. His whole character just.
I felt like
it was the whole point of it. He needed to.
I felt like Hyogoro did everything he needed to do.
Hyogoro should have went out. I mean, not necessarily at that moment with where Chopper pulls up. It could have been there, but I think one thing that really would have just pushed Wano over the edge for me is after or while Luffy is like transforming into Gear 5th and Kaido comes down and and starts his, like, that was one of the best chapters.
Oh, when they thought Luffy died.
When they thought Luffy died and he's now he's back on the live floor. That was the moment where
should have killed some people.
It should have been a whole chapter of them now trying to fight Kaido and losing.
I agree.
I thought moment, Luffy comes back and it's like Goku comes back from Snake Way.
Yeah. We didn't spend enough time wallowing in Luffy's death.
Yes.
Right? Yep. So as much as I enjoyed the chapter and how hype I was towards the end when we saw the freaking the rubbery curls or whatever it was, it was like I like it, but we could have stayed here for a while longer.
Yeah.
We could have had a chapter. I remember I was reacting to it. People were kind of mad because I was like, I like it. I love it. This is hype. But give us a chapter of, we know he's not dead, right? But give us a chapter of everyone else trying to figure things out against Kaido with Luffy supposedly being dead. It builds the tension.
I wanted Luffy in the snake and everybody else against the Enel.
Builds the tension.
Like,
Luffy comes out. Hyogoro is dead. Let's be honest. Hyogoro should have probably died when Big Mom attacked him in Udon, all right?
Facts.
Like, after you teach Luffy Ryo and how to break out of the handcuffs, that's it.
Obi-Wan.
That's it.
Cut him out.
That's it, right?
He did what he needed. He served his purpose.
I thought Kaido was going to have bodies on top of bodies by the time Luffy comes back out of Gear 5th. It was just like, it was just instant. But I guess Oda didn't want to have it dwindle for that long, where it's like, well, he's not dead.
Bro, dwindle.
I'm saying that. I was like, we got the Ice Oni shit for a chapter, 2 chapters, 3 chapters. Give us a chapter of Luffy being
Marco,
dead.
Pushing away a Boro breath. I was like, okay, come on, more of this.
Yeah,
and then Luffy
the others figuring it out, right?
Yeah.
But the end of the chapter showed that Luffy was back, and so still a great moment, but it could have been more impactful because the tension could have built a bit more. Kaido could have racked up the bodies. He could have went crazy in that moment where we get rid of people that maybe aren't as important to the story anymore. But that could have added to his character.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah.
But all in all, I like Gear 5. It's not my favorite Luffy gear. I think it was the most hype because it was just what the hell. But I think my favorite gear will always be Gear 2nd.
I knew you were gonna say that.
Yeah, Gear 2nd, man. It's just we had too many great moments with Gear 2nd. It's so pure, right? It's just the pose. I saw it trending recently on Twitter where like the pose is iconic. People were mimicking the pose. I've never seen anyone do that pose, but it's Gear 2nd. Probably Gear 2nd, Gear 4th, probably Gear 2nd, Gear 5th. I don't know. It's stuff between Gear 5th and Gear 4th.
I've always loved Gear 3rd.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you like about Gear 3rd?
Giant Luffy. I always knew we were gonna get some form of a giant Luffy. So
yeah. I think Gear 3rd is my least favorite.
I don't know, man. When he pulled out that giant fist the first time, I was like, "This is what I've been waiting for."
Well, the thing is, it's like
This is exactly what
remember back then with Gear 3rd, like Luffy turned into like a midget after. So
you weren't into that?
It was.
I enjoyed the drawback. I was into it.
It was cool. It was cool, but it was just like in comparison to Gear 4th, like in Gear 2nd and Gear 5th. It's just.
I mean, realistically, it's more of an extension of.
It doesn't feel like a gear, to be honest.
Yeah, it's more like he's just expanding his regular moves.
Yeah. So Gear 3rd it's fraudulent. Let's be honest here. It's fraudulent. It's not a gear. It's not a gear.
Well, I appreciate it for what it is. Gear or not.
We've uncovered it here, guys. Gear 3rd is not a gear. It's just literally blown into his head. It's not a gear.
So I want to start working towards wrapping things up, get into some supers, because I know you gotta pop out in about like 15 minutes or so.
Yeah.
And then but let's see. Last things I want to say about like Egghead and everything like that is, I'm expecting some great stuff for Franky. I'm hoping for even more great stuff with Sanji, Mads, everything like that. I feel like Vegapunk needs to talk with Franky, Sanji, and Luffy. About Luffy about his fruits, Sanji about everything with Vegapunk, and like maybe we finally handle that whole like Vinsmoke situation that he's dealing with. Franky, we need the upgrades. It was teased in Onigashima. Sanji saw Queen's laser and was like, I know someone who would like that.
Somebody would go crazy with that. Yeah.
I thought Franky was going to find some blueprints and everything like that, pull out a Wano with a fully rechargeable laser, but we're definitely getting that after this full mech. Let's get docking back. But more than anything, I'm low key expecting this to be a secret Nami arc with all of the weather manipulation.
Because the geothermal
tech, all of that stuff. Yeah.
I think everyone is going to benefit here exponentially, because if you're at the point where you're 500 years into the future, how much has technology aided the advancement of medicine?
Yeah. So boom, Chopper
wins.
Wins.
Chopper is going to learn a lot here.
Pull back to Wano. Maybe he fixes the smiles.
Maybe he fixes a smile through what happens here, right? Where back then with Mocha and those guys, Law had to take care of it. Maybe at this point, Vegapunk and the advancement of technology, Chopper gets some new tools. Hey, this is how you can do what Law did without his devil fruit. With Franky,
this is Oda's way of leveling everybody up for the end game.
Yes. Like you said, the Sanji, the Sanji one, like if this is Sanji's mom and Vegapunk did create a clone in her likeness, we could get even more Sanji development. Vegapunk could reveal more to Sanji about him and who he is,
right? And
the basis.
Tell
and
him
the
about his
process.
Lunarian DNA that's inside of him.
I don't know if Oda tries to do this.
He's got to have Lunarian DNA.
Of course.
That's it.
A retrospective of how, like, Judge's idea of why he was trying to manipulate the kids, and try to make it overall a positive spin. Vegapunk tells him about something that Judge was trying to do that Judge didn't say himself, and the reason why Judge turned out the way he did. Judge lost someone that he cared about.
What happened in Judge's life that he felt it necessary to remove his children's emotions?
Yes.
What moment was he too emotional for?
Something happened.
Yeah.
Something happened.
Nothing.
Where he was like, you don't want to go through these emotions. Let's just remove them. Listen, in One Piece, characters come to the weirdest of conclusions, but they have their reasons. I'm someone that's going to defend Doflamingo all day, every day.
Damn.
All day, every day. Right? People say he killed his brother. His brother was trying to get him captured, bro. His brother was a snitch. I'm sorry. What would you do? But I think in One Piece, there are a lot of characters that, they come to their own conclusions. They really, that's what it's about. Honestly, he killed his dad, Brago. Oh yeah, the dad was the reason why he got tortured.
And
I was a king. I was chilling. You brought me down. Now I'm getting stoned. Sorry, pops. Say goodbye. All right. Say goodbye. But Doflamingo loves his people, but just don't cross him. Yeah. But yeah, I think that's what One Piece is about. Different answers, and Judge is gonna have probably different answers to why he did the things he did. But this is gonna be an important, very important arc for the Straw Hats because they're gonna learn so much in regards to just themselves. I think they can find out more about themselves. I think this is what it's about. It's kind of like Luffy find out more about devil fruits, Franky find out more about just creation in general, Chopper with medicine. Like I said, Nami, the fact that Vegapunk can change the weather in an entire island is come on. I was thinking as well, with Vegapunk and how back then when we found out about him, they said that he was crying because he didn't have the resources to basically create the blueprints he had in his head. Right.
That's why I think Vegapunk is chaotic neutral. He doesn't care what he. I don't think he cares what he's doing for the world government as long as they're giving him the money and resources to get shit done. Oh, because I can have the lab. Cool, you can have the Seraphim. I'm making this.
But it's also I think for Vegapunk, it's a plus at the end of the day, because if you can mass produce these geothermal, I guess these things, if you can mass produce these,
but something has to be wrong with it because that's why we have the Eddy.
It's causing things.
Yeah,
because it's changing the weather. It's not normal.
The only reason we would have that is because it's switching between warm and cold.
So it's how can we kind of circumvent that with other things? But how many people could you help if you could change, on a whim, the weather around them? Right? I know we could go all the way back to Alabasta and the rain and all this different stuff, but it's I think Vegapunk at the end of the day wants to help people, and he knows that the world government, they have the most resources. So that's why I'm going to work with them. Of course, they're using the things that he's creating for war and for power. But if it's a net positive at the end of the day, and I can create things for the world to make the world a better place, then, why not? That's kind of how I look at it.
Here, gonna get into some of these chats here quick. Let's see, we got my guy Diz the Ghost, member for 16 months, said my two favorite YouTubers in one place. So this is an instant classic for me.
Hey, appreciate it, my guy or gal.
If you could have Oda draw you in any outfit from the series, who would you pick? Also relax on the Sanji dying talk.
Dofi.
Which you'd go for the Dofi?
Give me pre and post. Pre and post.
The only Dofi drip I would rock is the red suit.
I'd rock all of it.
Give me that Water 7 Sanji drip. Sea Train Sanji drip. The orange pinstripes.
Ooh. I low-key like the Wano.
Or I need that croc drip.
Yeah, give me pre-time skip Dofi. Time skip Dofi.
And, I think Corazone's got better drip than No Flamengo.
Bad
I
take.
got. That's. Nah, man. My man's clean with it. Let's just say the boy that they they both know what they're doing. Although I can't get with the high water pants that Dofi's got. That's my thing.
The crazy thing is like that's what's popping nowadays.
It's just not. It's not
That's
my vibe.
what's in.
Bro. It's not my vibe though.
That's what's in nowadays. You know,
I can respect the camera on make and everything, but I'm like,
come on, just a little high. You got the loafers on. Woo! The shirt open a little bit, the rings, the drip. Come on, Randy. You got the chain.
I give it. But
the shades. Come on.
I'm more about the full pants, man. Let it hit the shoes.
You get it's a little bit of space. They gotta see the shoes. They gotta see all of it. Oh, yo.
Let's see. Ian Mann said, my favorite YouTubers, much respect and thanks, y'all. I might be late, but I think we go into the moon this arc. I mean, there is possibility with the Enel.
That is possible.
Said Enel cover story, Seraphims, Vegapunk got Gundams, plus Nami can see the whole world map. That's interesting. It's I mean, the biggest tie for me is that the old man from the Enel cover story is also from Karakuri.
Karakuri, yep.
So that's a big thing for me. Weekly Shonen said Zorro did go crazy, no lore, but haki and Ashura power up made him still feel close to Luffy, who blew past everyone. Anime emphasized that.
Yes. He blew past everyone. Like, the thing is, people used to say Zorro could possibly give Luffy a go. No one is saying that anymore.
Yeah. Angel Reyes said, I think it would have been better if instead of Tama's fruit changing the tides, the samurai would back up the Straw Hats, overcoming the odds.
It's just they didn't have enough samurai.
Yeah.
Like,
I remember thinking that pink-haired samurai was strong.
Who is he talking about? Oh, Ashura?
I mean, they could be talking about Ashura, but they could also be talking about that like random, like He-Man looking dude with the pink hair. Was just in the background in different places. Always behind like Hyogoro. Doesn't have a name.
I assumed all the samurai were kind of all right to mid, based on how much they heralded Kinemon and where Kinemon was in regards to the rest of the world.
I don't know, man. Sakazuki was talking them all up, though. He's gassing.
I feel like Sakazuki at some point ran into Odin when he was traveling the world, and he just assumed all fucking Wano samurai were as strong as Odin.
I would love to see that. I need that now. I need that in the canon. Mugsby said, what do you think of Emu needing Vivi to do the Lucia attack? Because it needs blood from all 16 remaining Celestial Dragon families. We did talk about that. King of Lightning just dropped a vid about it. If he was talking about that, we talked about that. But I had called it, let's see, for your information, Wano flopped isn't a universal opinion. That's fine. I mean, never said it was. Crockett DC said Vivi's the key to Uranus. We talked about this. Yep. She's in a similar panel as Poseidon, Momo. I'm the first person in the community to point that out. The World Government got her, used her to destroy Lulu. A lot of people talking about the same thing there. If you guys go back to when Vivi did the rain, and you go back to the very first time that Shirahoshi used her power, Oda drew it the exact same way, on purpose.
And you should make a short about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get into the TikTok game.
Yep. I know YouTube is about to start. I guess having different places on the app for shorts.
Yeah. So it doesn't like affect the algorithm or something.
They're gonna work in tandem, but it's like it's not gonna affect, because sometimes the shorts, it shows up in your regular channel with your videos, and for some people it's a turn off, right? It's just like, it looks weird.
Anytime I've tried to do it, it just shows up and it's just like, all right.
Yeah, but that'd be a good like short to connect like how the foreshadowing for Vivi being possible in Nationwide. I know you've been talking about it.
Years. Enter a name. said Parasparrow is awakened.
Yes,
and that's from Brago. My guy Maxo said both Katakuri and Kaido just hit a wall with Luffy. Katakuri said, "You want this W more than I do." Kaido said, "I want this L more than you do."
Pretty much.
Wave Chappelle said, Oda gave Shiri the clear fruit so Zoro could master cutting nothing. Still a callback to Alabasta, just different. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll go a little deep with that. Yeah.
Yeah. We getting there.
Wait,
Michael
when is
Mouton,
Comic-Con?
This Thursday. I'm gonna be there. You going? New York Comic Con.
This Thursday. Oh.
Yeah. I'm only gonna be there Thursday, but I'm already talking with Roger and Jay. I think Parvision's gonna be there too, and we're gonna do a meetup. So.
Oh, New York is like 3 hours away. It's about what I want to make that drive. Maybe I might.
All right, man. Yeah. We'll be there on Thursday.
Yeah. I might make that drive.
Come through, bro. Come through. We got Michael Mouton said, "Yo, the goats. If you could direct a part of the story for the live action, what would it be?" Said I'd do episode 93 to 94 where Luffy and Ace meet up. That's interesting.
If I could direct a part of the story for the live action, if I could direct it, I would be like one of my favorite moments again. Just to stretch after Enies Lobby, 432, 433, 434. Whitebeard walking on Shank's ship, Ace seeing Blackbeard again. It's just, I just picture that being like in the anime, it's like really, it feels bright. Or in the manga, it feels like, but I feel like I'd make that a lot more grunge, like almost like foreshadowing a tragedy, you know, like when Ace meets Blackbeard that time. Like maybe we start with like the sun, but then as like Blackbeard's walking up, it's like the sun goes away, then it starts to rain a little bit. But then maybe not the rain because that would take away from Ace's power. I don't know. But I make it like a lot more dark because some bad things happened after that. But that would be something I'd probably that scene. That's what I want to do.
The Vivi goodbye for me.
Oh yeah, that'd be really good. That'd be one in the live action you'd have to nail.
Oh yeah.
You'd have to nail that. It's so important.
I mean, it's so iconic. Like it's gotta be as iconic.
Yep.
Drew Beat said Blackbeard would team up with Luffy to defeat Emu. There, I said it. I mean, who knows? Lucy B said, Brago, so you think the Lucia citizens and Sabo are dead? ? Because I saw a theory from Murphy that they may not be dead. All of them are alive.
Sabo was not on the island, I don't think.
Sabo has plot armor, so
yeah,
he's getting away no matter what. Moda might be dead though. yeah,
Moda's gone. I think because when we look at it again, Oda was very specific with the scenes. The people that were on Lucia, we saw their backgrounds. Sabo, we didn't see his. Right? And then even
I've been seeing a lot of people talking about the shading and everything on that.
Yeah. It's like it kind of feels like Sabo and where they look. Sabo's looking behind him. It seems like everyone else is looking like directly upwards. So Sabo is in the vicinity, but I don't think he's dead. And even if he was there, he's a low gear user. So
yeah, that's still gonna take a lot of stamina to fly in flame mode to somewhere else.
Yeah. But he's plot armor, so it's like
he's gonna figure it out. He's gonna figure it out.
I could see Oda doing something like having Sabo save one person from there, and it would be Moda.
Right.
Like she snuck onto his ship or something like that, but or maybe or I don't know, maybe in some way while Sabo was in Lucia, he reminded them of Ace, or he used the same power that Ace did, and then she followed him, and she followed him on the ship, and then
I could see that for sure.
Yeah, the ship is off the coast. All of a sudden, Lucia's destroyed, and it's like, oh shit! Now Sabo is traveling with Moda, you know. But no, Sabo's alive.
Teddy said, does it make sense for Sanji not to have Conqueror's haki when he's supposed to be one of the wings of the Pirate King? He could have it. He could not. it makes no difference to me.
Yeah,
I mean, it's still my goat. So
I don't think it changes much. If Sabo has it or not, or Sanji has it or not.
His dream isn't about necessarily being the best of anything, so it doesn't matter. But at the same time, he's royalty, so he could have the kingly ambitions there.
Yeah.
The last orphan, Zorro, has been described and shown with an aura of menace. Even his first appearance, he always was shaking people's will to fight. Day one.
Yes.
Brandon King asked for Egghead predictions, which we did go into. He said, I bet a lot of Thriller Bark parallels. Mecha Luffy as oars, rebelling to be free. Franky hating Vegapunk like Chopper and Hogback. Souls and robots. Interesting.
This arc is going to be one of our favorites. I just know it.
Oh, I mean, it's definitely. I'm a sci-fi guy, so I'm going to be living my best life.
It's going to be amazing.
Yeah. Let's see. Loggy Doggy said, I'm ready for the year of Franky. Hashtag Frye. And Push Garage said, Emu used an ancient animal just like Zunisha to wipe out Lulu Kingdom. Momo was able to watch from Zunisha's eyes. This is the same for Emu. Maybe.
I think after the Monster Trio, Franky might be my favorite Straw Hat.
It's Vivi, Sanji, Franky for me. That's my top three. That's my Monster Trio.
Yeah, actually Franky might be my top three. It might be Zoro, Sanji, Franky. Yeah. Zoro, Sanji, Franky, Nami, Brook, Usopp, Robin, Vivi. Then we can slide Luffy in there, I guess.
somewhere. Yeah, Luffy's all right. Juan Vila said, the two goats, much love from Texas. Listen to y'all every day while I'm working construction. Keep up all the badass videos. Appreciate you, Juan. And then I think that's all of the chats. And then to go back to one of the early questions that we kind of skipped across, he said, did anything hit different or change for me when I did the rewatch?
Yeah.
And for me, that was Thriller Bark and Dressrosa.
I
had a better appreciation for Thriller Bark when I watched it on One Pace. And because that was a time, I'm pretty sure you were weekly during Thriller Bark too, right? And
no, I got weekly in Marineford.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, so Thriller Bark was tough weekly, bro. Like, it was after coming off the high of Ennie's Lobby and everything like that, the community was, I mean,
it was
really
tough binging. I'm not gonna lie to you.
It was really, the community was really torn. And I remember a lot of people on, like, you know, the forums and everything took a break. Literally took a break during Thriller Bark. And the anime, the pacing just got horrendous at that time.
Yeah.
So that was kind of around the time where I basically became manga only. And then, like, went to the anime when I was like, just, okay, I want to see how they animated this. And then eventually, like, you know, I went back and, you know, watched it and all of that. But I mean, like, I let it build, stay weekly with the manga. But I had a better appreciation for it when I was able to just, like, watch it without all the fluff. And then Dressrosa just hit so crazy via One Pace. And
because without all the fluff, you get right into it, man.
You just get right into it, and it was like, you know, you only watched the Rebecca flashback once, and then I was like, you know what? This is actually a top 5 flashback for me.
It's like, sad. It's sad as hell.
I don't know. It resonated with me, and now
your dad, as a dad,
yeah,
it's different.
It's different.
It's just you're taking care of your daughter that doesn't know who you are.
Yeah.
It's a different level of, like, dedication, because as a toy, everything that Kiddos had gone through, it was tough, man. It was tough.
Kyros, to me, it felt like it was almost as though Oda was writing 2 different manga. Like, as if he, like, stopped One Piece and then was writing this manga about Kyros and Rebecca, and it was like its own separate story, side story that was just as good as everything else that was going around. And then he still wove it in, like, you know, with that Goda energy.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm just like, Kyros is low-key another one of my favorite characters. And I just appreciate him. I feel like underrated character.
I like Kyros a lot. I like Kuros a lot. I think
he had the right energy the whole arc.
The entire arc. He's one of the better characters in Dressrosa in One Piece. Yeah. I think it's so tough because I think for characters to get their just due, they need signature moments, right? And the one that I can think of is when Kuros like cut Doflamingo's head off. Even
that if you asked me for a moment, that would have been top one right there.
Yeah, when he cut
and it
Doflamingo's
hits so
head off.
hard. Like he finally, was done being a toy. And what does he do? He finishes the action he was trying to do before he
cut his head off right away. And it's like it's such an amazing moment. I think the tough part is that we know that Dofi's not done, right? And you knew it wasn't done. And so I think for some of these characters, you need these,
but it was still
signature
satisfying.
moments. It was satisfying.
It's like when Vivi cut off Crocodile's head. It's the same thing.
Yeah, I think if we had spent more time with Kuros, he would be a perennial top 30 character in regards to votes and popularity. If we spent a bit more time with him. I think it's just people didn't have enough time and it felt like it was quick with him. Like when you go back and you watch or read Dressrosa, you're like, damn, Kuros, it was like that. But, and then also in One Piece, like Kuros is like one of the great dads.
Right.
That's, we don't get that a lot.
We don't get many of them.
Get many good dads.
We probably count them on one hand.
So Kuros is one of the great ones.
Yeah, but brother, I think we can wrap things up. Let's see, we lagging again?
I think it's lagging,
Right as I'm about to.
Right at the end.
Right at the end.
They'll catch it on the VOD. They'll catch it on the VOD.
Yeah. So let's see. Yeah, man. I appreciate you coming through, brother.
Oh,
and
no problem.
Glad we finally had an opportunity, chance to do this, get it together.
Oh, for sure, man. This is great. Anytime, I'm down. Just hit me up. I'm always down to talk some One Piece. Always enjoy talking with you about One Piece. Always giving me a different perspective that I didn't think about. I think something that made me think about and like the wheels are turning in my head now is like how each Straw Hat is going to react to Vegapunk, and just how impactful that's going to be to every one of them, because I wouldn't be surprised if he has something for Brook. He's like, I can fix you, It's like, wait, doesn't mean I want to have bones anymore. And that could be like a thing where Brook is like fighting with like, dang, do I want to go back to where I used to be? It was like transfer his consciousness or something into a regular body. I don't know, but I think that's gonna be great. But nah, this is dope, man. This is really dope. I had a great time.
Me too, man. Appreciate you. That concludes this week's Theory for Theory. Everybody, thank Brago. Yeah.
Appreciate chat. Yeah, this ain't lagging. The VOD not gonna lag. You see it on the VOD.
Yeah.
Savage. I had to do it one time.